Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Den. Thank you for being a part of the pack. My name is Alexander Leviathan, the WereWolf, and today we are starting a new podcast for the brand, Phenomenal by Choice. I'm a musician, but aside from that, I am multi-talented, and I want to expand my brand to reach out to all audiences, no matter what. Music, designer, I do it all. So today, we'll be starting our podcast, the Phenomenal Podcast, which doesn't really have a set topic. I don't want to pigeonhole it. I just want something new, something to be spoken about, just something good. All subjects allowed here. Today, we'll be doing NBA alone, but in the future, it won't be just something like that. We'll be opening with some NBA content, like I said before, but first, my podcast co-host, somebody special, somebody with a great opinion, somebody who I like to go back and forth with. Everybody, please welcome the MEERKAT. How you doing today?
Well, I'm doing good. But who told you could introduce me? I can introduce myself. I'm an independent woman, and I can introduce myself. So I don't need your No. I don't need your introductions. Hey, everybody. I'm MEERKAT. And just for those who don't know, MEERKAT is actually spelled with a K. Imagine that. Cat spelled with a K. And not like a raggedy way to spell it. It literally is spelled with a K.
It's your name. You should probably know how to spell. Anywho, we're going to get into a lot of NBA content, as I said before. Today, we're going to start off with our awards. End of season awards for the regular season. Would you like to start off?
Why, ladies first? Is that what you running with? I'm going first anyways. Okay. That's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going first. Can't nobody tell me how to do my spirituals. Okay. I'm going first. Okay. I'm going first. Okay. So, we got MVP. I think this is pretty obvious. Now, there are some LeBron stands out there. And there's some Curry stands out there. But it's pretty obvious that the MVP is Jokic. Jokic played all of the games this year.
72.
You got it. Jokic played a third of them without Jamal Murray. Jokic played more than half of them without Aaron Gordon.
Yep.
Aaron Gordon only got there, around the trade deadline. He's only played 25 games with them. Look at what Jokic is doing. Just so y'all know what's going on out here. Jokic is averaging more than 25 points per game. 26. If you look at his defensive win shares, somehow he's actually in a top 10 of that. Jokic has had a phenomenal season. He's the best passing big man that you've seen, not just this year, but just period. He's had such a heavy workload, and with that talent in the West, he's got his team in third seed. Third, once again. Jamal Murray, missing, third of the season. Aaron Gordon only came over less than halfway through. I got Jokic. I think it's pretty clear, and it's pretty clear because he's played all his games.
Yeah, I would agree. He played all 72 games this season. He averaged 26, 10, and 8. And the runner-up, I should say, would be Joel Embiid. A lot of people said that, even though he missed 21 games. He can't play back-to-backs. And that's just what it is. He can't play back-to-backs. I mean, obviously it's injury-related or whatever the case is, but that's just how it is. And Steph played a great individual season, but he wasn't able to pull the Golden State Warriors as far as they need to be. And I don't even mean the playoff tournament, because the playoff tournament is like an individual type place in between the playoffs and the regular season. I just mean the Warriors were terrible as a team this year.
Ouch. So, I didn't hear Dame in there. No love for Dame?
No love for Dame.
No love for Dame.
No, the Portland Trail Blazers won how many games this season? 42 games, when they had pretty much, well, I won't say everybody was healthy, but I mean, it just seems like the same mediocrity they've been wailing in for years. So, I mean, nothing's changed for me.
So, being without CJ McCollum for nearly half of the season, having the Nurkic go down, Zach Collins still down. Zach Collins just be on the sideline chilling in turtlenecks, doing a bunch of nothing. Clapping up the guys, tucking in his turtlenecks, wearing blazers. None of that matters.
No, it doesn't. Because even with them here, in Portland. We've seen whole seasons where Dame, CJ, and Nurkic were healthy, and they did just about the same thing, if not a little better. So I'm supposed to change my opinion for what? And then now we will fall into the same category as Steph. He had a great individual season, but what he did amounted to really not as much when it came to the team. Nurkic, he looks totally different this year anyway. It just seems like CJ got injured. I mean, CJ. But Jokic, like you said, he put the Nuggets on his back and was gone. His second scorer is Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is okay. He's not good. He's not great. He's okay. Let's get it up. He had a good season.
Michael Porter Jr. is a vegan. I think that makes him more than okay. He got to get points for being a vegan, right?
If he a vegan, that means he not hungry. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Jerry Grant has had an amazing season. If they would have retained him, I bet the Nuggets would have did even better.
Facts.
I bet they would have done it even better. But I mean,
definitely.
That's just what it is. You want to end it? You want to add anything else?
Nah, I mean, Dame did save a man's house from being foreclosed on.
You mean
not foreclosed on? I mean, a man bid his house.
It was $200 bet.
I mean,
he was lying. He's a liar.
Listen.
Also, Jokic.
It was that pineapple that SpongeBob was living in.
I told you he got that for free. Jokic was also shooting 56% from the field in total. The man was a beast. He was a beast. I don't like the fact that he said he didn't really care about the MVP, but I mean, he's just trying to play it cool or whatever. When you win the MVP in the National Basketball Association, that's a big deal. I don't care who you are.
He is like the only one this year to not say he definitely wanted it. Dame said he's more than deserving of it. You know, James Harden at the beginning was saying he is the MVP. Joel Embiid was saying he needed. Steph wanted it. I think Jokic is probably the only one that didn't say, yeah, it's absolutely me.
Like I said, he's trying to put on shades and be Mr. Cool Guy, but I mean, he deserves it more so than anybody else, in my opinion. That's just the way I feel about that.
Agreed.
All right, let's move on to Coach of the Year. I think Coach of the Year is definitely, it's simple. It's Tibbs. It's Tibbs. It's Tibbs. I mean, I threw a couple of people in there too, like Scott Brooks, because there was a website called, I think, the Washington Bullets. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly the website, but they predicted that Scott Brooks would have been fired halfway through the season, and he was able to make Bradley Beal and Russ work so well together. Obviously, Russ had 38 triple doubles, so that helped too. But you know the whole notion. I got a video coming out with Russ and why the term stat stuffer is complete trash. But without his stuff, who else would be doing that? Who else is gonna give you 10 assists? Bradley Beal is a scoring monster. He'll give you 30 points. He'll give you some rebounds. He'll give you some assists. But I mean, Russ can do it all for a reason. Russ does it all for a reason. But I'm talking about Tibbs. Nobody expected anything out of the Knicks like every year. Nobody expects nothing out of the Knicks. The Knicks have for so long. I don't care about the 90s. They didn't do anything in the 90s. Did they win? No. Jordan won in the 90s. So I don't care about that. Tibbs came in after his disappointing seasons with the Timberwolves, and everybody questioned him after his success with the Bulls and was like, can Tibbs really coach? I think he showed there. I mean, Julius Randle upped his game. He worked out. He improved pretty much everywhere. So, I mean, why wouldn't Tibbs get it?
Okay, so you giving Tibbs credit for Julius Randle. I mean, I agree that it's Tibbs, but I don't think Monty Williams is that far behind. For me, it's really a two-headed race, two-headed monster right there. You either go Tibbs or Monty Williams. I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to go to Tibbs. Side note here, though. I believe the Suns hadn't made the playoffs in nearly 8 seasons, maybe more. Last time the Suns made the playoffs, was it when they had Steve Nash or something crazy like that?
I hope it wasn't that far back. Maybe it was. I think it was.
Yeah, we'll check on that later to get you guys the accurate info on that one. But certainly the Suns have not made the playoffs in a while. Now they did bring, Chris Paul over. You got Devin Booker. But if you look at that team, that's really a bunch of young guys. Nobody expected the second seed from them. So not only are you making the playoffs, but you're succeeding. You're exceeding expectations in the West. I got to give a lot of credit to Monty Williams. That being said, I am still on this Tibbs train. I am still on this Barney Rubble sounding man. That's me. I'm still believing in Tibbs. The fact that he got the Knicks to 4th seed, I mean, that's crazy. Nobody.
2010 was the last time the Suns made the playoffs.
So yeah, we talking about a decade. Yes, that's crazy. I still would give it to Tibbs because, I mean, it means so much for New York basketball. But listen, your best player is Julius Randle. Their best player is Devin Booker. Their second best player is Chris Paul. This is a proven guy in the league. Give it to Tibbs. It is Tibbs Awards to win. I would say Tibbs. Tibbs is the coach of the year, definitely.
Yeah, I would definitely say so too. The Suns showed in the bubble last year that they were bubbling.
Ha.
So very nice. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, you're welcome. They were bubbling up, and then Chris Paul just exceeded it. He exceeded expectations. Their cup floweth over. Their cup floweth over, and it ended pretty well. So all respect to the Suns and Phoenix and everything like that. But I mean, it's clear that Tibbs clear that Tibbs did what he did. Plus, he had Derrick Rose too. Derrick Rose. Well, we'll talk about more about Derrick Rose later on, but he definitely cleaned that up too.
Well, you know Tibbs always bring over his guys. Everywhere he's gone, has he not brought over Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson? Like, listen, Tibbs is going to be dying, and he going to be in a damn hospital, and you going to see Taj Gibson in the next bed, and you going to see Derrick Rose in the next bed.
Now,
everywhere Tibbs goes, he brings Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson.
This is true.
You got to watch out for that.
It didn't work with the Timberwolves, though. He brought both of them over there, and Derrick Rose had individual success, but I mean, the Timberwolves were still the Timberwolves. So this is the first time since the Bulls it's actually worked to this kind of prominence. So, all right, let's go Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
Rookie of the Year. Typically, I don't like to give guys a year award when they've missed a lot of games, which LaMelo Ball has missed a lot of games, but I will give it to LaMelo Ball because I feel like LaMelo Ball was the best rookie this year. Assists, rebounds. Listen, LaMelo Ball might be a Westbrook who can develop a shot. I'm not telling you that he's got the speed. He's definitely a bigger guy. I think LaMelo's running around 6'7". I think he's 6'7", maybe 200 pounds. I'm saying maybe on the 200 pounds. I mean, he's a lighter dude, but he's got the wingspan. He's 6'7". He has the court vision. He's got the court vision. He can pull those boards. This guy, you got to watch out. I think LaMelo is a triple-double threat. I think LaMelo could be one of those dudes that can average a triple-double for the season. Beyond that, though, I just think he was a better rookie than Anthony Edwards. James Wiseman is nowhere to be found. Tyrese Halliburton came on in the end, but it was something cute. It wasn't really anything significant. Anybody else that you might mention, I think LaMelo Ball just did a better job. Started the season on the bench, came in on the starting lineup. You can see the impact when he's in the game. Right now, we're considering him the best player on that Hornets squad over Terry Rozier, over Gordon Hayward anyways. But yeah, LaMelo Ball, I got him as the rookie of the year.
Yeah, LaMelo's he's 6'6" and he's 181 pounds.
181?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a lot of, he showed superstar flashes like crazy this year. Obviously, I mean, some I'm not going to predict because people are just jump down your throat like, oh, he doesn't look like Chris Paul. I'm not saying he looks like Chris Paul. He has those tendencies. He has those LeBron and the Heat passes. I've seen those. Those are living just brilliant when it comes to that. So, I mean, unwaveringly, like you said, they've been injured, but I mean, his talent level is insane. It's just nothing more you can say about it. The kid's just phenomenal so far. So we'll have to see from there. All right, we go 6-man. I'm gonna go 6-man. I'll go with Derrick Rose for all the same reasons that we talked about with the Knicks and Tibbs and Julius Randle. We did all that. Julius Randle is my most improved player too. So I mean, the Knicks praise out here. I'm not a Knicks fan, so I don't want anybody believing that. I'm like, oh, I'm a Knicks fan. No, I'm a Miami Heat fan. Miami Heat all the way. I love them ever since they drafted Dwayne Wade.
I saw you in that Knicks hat last year. What you mean you not a Knicks
That hat
fan?
was fire. Hold on. The hat was fire. Let's not play. I will wear I will wear another team's outfit. I'll wear their hat, their shorts, whatever the case, if they fire. I seen Memphis. Memphis got the drip. I definitely wear Memphis stuff. I mean, yeah, I definitely wear Memphis stuff. I liked them back when it was the grit and grind. But, I mean, I'm not a Memphis fan. That Knicks hat was fire. Plus, that probably wasn't even me anyway. So
yeah, right. Yeah. I got the photos. If anybody want to see the photos, I got the photos.
There
he definitely was in a Knicks hat.
There are no photos.
He definitely was in a Knicks hat. Matter of fact, he got 3 of them.
Photoshop.
He's got a orange one, I should say.
Photoshop.
He has a blue one.
Don't care.
What? He has a customized one.
No, I don't.
He's got one that says #1 Knicks fan.
No, I definitely don't. That was made out of construction paper.
Okay, that one was a lie, but the other stuff was all true.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Who's your 6th man?
Listen, just like the MVP, this 6th man question is not really a question.
I think it is.
It's Jordan Clarkson.
Ooh.
It's Jordan Clarkson, clearly. Jordan Clarkson, 18.4 points per game. Sir, is there a motorcycle nearby? What's going on? What's going on?
You
What's
jumped
going
over.
on?
I don't like that you jumped over Joe Ingles like that. The man was averaging 45 from 3-point line, and he was super efficient.
That's nice, but listen, when they needed clutch buckets, they went to Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson was a monster. He himself has had, this is like, he got 18.4 points on 26.7 minutes, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Clutch shots. You were able to insert them in crunch time and down the stretch, having Donovan Mitchell go down, injured for several games. You can't put Joe Ingles in for Donovan Mitchell. You put Jordan Clarkson in for Donovan Mitchell. That quick offense, that's what you get from Jordan Clarkson. Now, I'm not telling you that Joe Ingles is a scrub. I love my dad guys. Everybody loves their dad guys. And Joe Ingles is one of those dad guys.
That's rough.
But he is. Let's just be real about it. He's dad guy #1.
That's rough.
Listen, down the line, we're going to have us a podcast episode where we just name out dad guys.
No, we won't. That's offensive. We won't.
Yes, we will. Just know Joe Ingles is on the list.
Joe Ingles
is on the list. Back to Jordan Clarkson, though. Jordan Clarkson, phenomenal season. I'm looking to see him improve, and I just like what I saw from Jordan Clarkson. I got to give it to him. I don't think Joe Ingles, I think them being on the same team, maybe if Joe Ingles was on a different team, so maybe if Joe Ingles was on the Pacers, that was him on the Pacers all those years ago with Victor Oladipo and taking LeBron James to 7 games. That was him, right? Was that him or is that Boggy D?
Nah, I think that was Joe Ingles.
That was Joe Ingles? Mm-hmm. Well, if we're wrong and it was Bogdanovich, point is moot. If it was Joe Ingles, the point that I'm making here is if Joe Ingles was on a different squad, yes, you could say this versus this. But if I'm going Joe Ingles versus Jordan Clarkson, it's definitely Jordan Clarkson. It's kind of like what happened with Lou Williams last year and Montrezl Harrell. Them being on the same squad, you can't really do a versus because they're on the same squad. So this one's going to be in, one of them is going to be the clear winner. They're going to be impacting the team more. If it was on a different team, you could, compare it. Oh, what did he do for this team? What did he do for that team? Not the case here. Jordan Clarkson, clear 6th man of the year.
Yeah, okay. We're going to be doing disappointments later on. I wanted to add Donovan Mitchell to my disappointments list. I definitely did want to add him there. Well, we'll talk about it later on. Okay, most improved player. We can just move on. We already know.
Yeah, we in agreement. It's Julius Randle. As much as I wanted to put Jerry Grant here because what he did in the playoffs last year and then extending to what he did with the Pacers this year. Excuse me, not the Pacers, with the Pistons this year. It was incredible. Listen, at one point, Jeremy Grant was averaging like 27 points per game. I think through the first 3 months of the season, he was averaging 27 points per game or 26. Playing light, he plays lights out defense. The man is an elite defender. The man can get the boards. The man was passing better. He still ain't no 6 assists per game kind of guy, but I was really impressed with Jeremy Grant. It's just that towards the end of the season, I guess when the Pistons start to play their typical mediocre brand of basketball, when they start to care more about their cars and things like that and their terrible jerseys, I guess his play kind of dwindled down. But we got Julius Randle because Julius Randle is nearly up in all categories. Julius Randle obviously averaged more points per game. He's played more minutes per game than anybody this year. What else did Julius Randle do? Julius Randle has twice as many 3 points made this year, made more free throws, and increased his free throw percentage. I think last year he was like a 73% free throw shooter. This year he's an 81% free throw shooter. He's just done a lot. He's getting nearly 5 more points he's averaging than last year. So Julius Randle, that's definitely a move on because we're definitely in agreement on that one.
Jeremy Grant was the best player on the Pistons when he was on the Nuggets. So let's go to defensive player of the year. Again, it's more of a sticky kind of situation because this year has been strange. It's not been like any other NBA season. And I'm not going to talk about, it's because it is, the fans not there, blah, blah, blah. It's been harder because of so many injuries and because of just different things like that. Rudy Gobert is defensive player of the year again. He's going to be the defensive player of the year again. This is third one. And he obviously deserves it. Besides Giannis, Giannis feels like after what happened in the playoffs last year, his confidence was kind of like broken, shattered, if you will. It felt different. Giannis playing this year felt different. He still put up his numbers, but I would have came back if I was him and shut everybody down. I would have just showed everybody like this is exactly what you guys are talking about. He should have did. He should have just flexed on them and just did exactly what he did last year. But it just felt different. So Rudy Gobert anchored one of the best defenses in the league again.
That's true.
That's basically what he does. He's not going to give you, he's not the second best scorer on the team. He averages somewhere around 10, 11 points per game or whatever the case is, but you can expect that as long as he's in the paint, nobody's going to get there.
Listen, I feel like you sound a little bit down when announcing that Rudy Gobert is Defensive Player of the Year. Are you tired of greatness? Is that it? Are you tiring of greatness? You're like, Rudy Gobert is Defensive Player of the Year.
No, it was just super exciting for me last year when Giannis won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. It was beautiful. You just don't see stuff like that happen so much. So to go back to Rudy, like I said, Rudy's a great defensive player. I'm not going to say he's not. Is there bias there? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
not saying there's not bias, but I don't like people with voter fatigue too. If he deserved to win it, he deserved to win it. Last year, no matter what Giannis did in the playoffs, he deserved to win the regular season MVP award. He deserved to win that. That was his. So Rudy Gobert is still the best rim defender in the league. And no matter what I think about him personally or whatever the hell the case is, he is still the best at what he does. So it's hands down, like he wins.
So I just discovered something today. I didn't know that, your boy WereWolf over there, I didn't know that he was like a low-key Rudy Gobert hater. I'm still hearing this discouraging tone when talking about Rudy Gobert. I've got Rudy Gobert as Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert has more blocks than any other player this year. And yes, let's just get something straight here. Defensive Player of the Year is usually going to go to a forward or center or bigger body player. But Rudy Gobert has 31 more blocks than the next guy. You know who that next guy is? It's Miles Turner. Miles Turner. He's got 31 more blocks for a total of 190 blocks. Going with that, he's got, way more defensive win shares. He's got way more defensive rebounds than the next guys. He's clearly the Defensive Player of the Year, and you're giving him his rim protection credit, and obviously I appreciate that, but the rim protection credit is something that, former winners of the Defensive Player of the Year award can do. The Dwight Howards of the world, the Kimbe. Let's give this man credit because he does come out on the perimeter. He will come out on the perimeter and guard that guard from shooting the three-point line. He'll do it. I'm not telling you that he can stop Steph Curry.
I'm about to say, don't play.
I'm not telling you that he can stop Steph Curry.
That's all cool.
Not saying that
in the playoffs last year, he was getting cooked. Don't play.
No,
he was getting cooked.
That defensive series was phenomenal by him. Listen.
When he went out into the perimeter, he got cooked. Don't lie.
He played good defense. He's going to go out to the perimeter.
In the paint, he will.
This perimeter stuff is so tricky. You got guys kicking out. You can't even really get your hands up. Rudy Gobert is a better perimeter defender than you think. You got guys like Ben Simmons saying he deserves Defensive Player of the Year because I guard 1 through 5. No, Rudy Gobert does not guard 1 through 5. I'll give you that. But listen, when you Ben Simmons and you talking about you guard 1 through 5, and Kyrie Irving come out and put 37 on your head, and you talking about, yeah, I'm the best defender out there. I guard 1 through 5, and you gotta be reminded that somebody put 37 on your head. Can we just get that moment of sizzle
That's
right
cool.
there?
You can defend 1 through 5. But doing it efficiently is a whole different argument.
Can we just do that right there?
Yeah.
So that's another thing to my boy Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert ain't out here telling you he's stopping Dame from pulling up at half court. But Rudy Gobert is going to give the effort, and he's going to come out and at least guard. And I'm telling you, every single time, they're not going to get that three-point shot. So I don't look at him as just a rim protector. I look at him as a rim protector with perimeter defense capabilities. I got Rudy Gobert. And I mean, it's easier now that you got guys like Kawhi not playing the defense that they used to play. So it's easier for him to get these awards. Just kudos to Rudy Gobert. You got it. This is your third. This puts him in elite status, a defender, right? He's there with Dennis Rodman, Dwight Howard, Dikembe Mutombo, Ben Wallace. That's who he's in company with. Kawhi, I think, has 2 of those awards, so Kawhi's kind of there as well. But he's there with those dudes.
Yeah.
3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. That's special. That right there, that inks Hall of Fame, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say
Rudy
so.
Gobert, if you get 3 Defensive Player of the Years, I don't know how they keep you out of the Hall of Fame. He's going to ink Hall of Fame right here. This is his credential right here.
Yeah, 3 out of 4, too. It was 3 out of 4. The only person to unseat him was the MVP.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he would have probably did it 4 because he was the runner-up last year. But Giannis is just that much better. And I'm holding my fingers up as like a little space right there. He was just
guys,
that much better.
He's playing world's tiniest violin. That's like the length between his fingers. It's really a more so.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously it is.
And
what
when I
it is.
say world's tiniest violin, I'm gonna play that again because once again we got us a Gobert hater over here. So just world's tiniest violin. Imagine that.
Shut up.
He got all happy with the rest of the voters. Like, I could give Giannis a chance.
Ain't nobody say no. Shut up.
I could give Giannis a chance to do what only Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan did. I could give Giannis a chance to be the MVP.
Shut up.
And the defensive
Be
player
quiet.
of the year. He got all excited.
Moving on.
Fine.
Also, Giannis did not get the credit he deserved in this year's MVP voting. Just because they gave it to him 2 times in a row does not mean he shouldn't have been in the top 3 this season either. People with the voter fatigue, like we were just talking about, and just in general for people who are like, oh, he already won it twice, or the whole thing like, oh, he shouldn't have got it because of how he played in the playoffs. It's the regular season MVP. We should just do a playoffs MVP. We already got a finals MVP.
Yeah, see,
I understand.
Keep rewarding everything.
I understand that, but still though, if you win it in the regular season and you play terrible in the playoffs, you still deserve your award.
I agree.
It doesn't matter what happened in the playoffs.
I agree with you. I don't think you should let that carry into next season, because if that's the case, I could be like, hey, this guy Joel Embiid, he only played 50 games this year. You know what? I'm going to hold that against him when I'm voting for next year's award. Hey, this guy got out on the...
Last year.
Dame is typically out the first round of every playoff series. There's maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. Obviously, there's the wave off of the Thunder, Westbrook, and Paul George. But Dame is out every playoff series. So if Dame is out every playoff series, then I could never, ever even conceive of voting for Dame Lillard again, because every year he's out in the first round. That's just so stupid. It's incredibly stupid to hold last season playoffs against somebody for a regular season award. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yep.
Giannis should be getting more consideration. Clearly, he's not the MVP, but the fact that his name was 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, some people didn't even have him on the list. Think about how flagrant this is. Certain voters came out and admitted that they were holding this against Giannis. Voters admitted that they held against Giannis the fact that he did not meet the Miami Heat. And I think that was the semifinals, not the conference finals, but I believe that was the semifinals. I think Rick Bucher and your boy Chris Broussard, they were talking about it, and I don't know which of them has said that they might hold it against him. I feel like it was Rick Bucher that said it, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to, put words in that guy's mouth. Point is, there were voters amongst themselves and publicly who talked about how Giannis should not get another MVP because of his poor playoff performance, and that just doesn't make any sense. Do they need votes? If you are holding a playoff performance against somebody for a regular season award, I question, do you even have
You don't deserve a job. Let's be real. You shouldn't have a job. To defend you, you're supposed to be better than the fans. This is fan talk. It's fan talk, and you shouldn't be making it. You shouldn't be saying this person didn't live up in this whole separate area, so we're going to grade him in this area. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid to me. Giannis played 61 games this year.
Yep,
that's 10 more than Joel Embiid. I don't care what Joel Embiid did. He's just good. He's just good. Giannis put up damn near the same numbers he put up last year. Better defense than Joel Embiid. Better defense. The assists might finally be even this year because Joel has done. I think he has more assists this year. But Giannis, I would say, is still probably the better passer. We know Joel Embiid is the better shooter, but Giannis's numbers are very similar to last year. The minutes that he played, he's able to get these numbers in lower minutes than most guys. That's what people have to appreciate about this. Giannis is not playing 35 minutes, 39 minutes. He's not playing that many minutes to get these numbers. He's playing lower minutes than most people, and is able to get his numbers. It's efficient is what he's doing. You know what Joel averaged this year?
Tell me.
28 and 10. Guess what Giannis averaged?
What?
28 and 11.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it. I'm not hearing it. Let's move on to All NBA now. We're going to talk about All NBA. I only did first team. Because I didn't want to drag the podcast down for forever. So I only did one team. I did the first team for All NBA. You start.
So I did 3 teams. I will go 1 for 1 for you. And once you drop off with your first, then I'll just do a second and a third. My list is controversial. I typically do not like to preface and do disclaimers as if I'm apologizing for my list. It is what it is. I said what I said, but be ready for some surprises. So first team All NBA for me, it goes Luka, Steph, Giannis, Julius Randle, and of course the MVP, soon to be Jokic.
You a fangirl. And I don't like you. I don't like you for that. Where's Bradley Beal? Where's Bradley Beal? Oh, you are trash.
You
for that.
Literally, you know what? Do your list.
Trash.
Do your list.
Okay. I got Curry.
No, do your list.
I'm doing it.
No, do your list.
Okay, I got Curry, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Jokic.
Oh my God.
That's what I got. Talking about Bradley Beal never get the Steph Curry, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic.
Nah, you don't need to say his name like that.
I said it.
You said his name.
It's fun to say. I will never say Joker. I will never say. I will never say his name like that. I will never say Joker.
Okay. Joker is the ultimate, no creativity kind of thing to do. I get it. So,
this whole last season, we talked about Bradley Beal not getting the attention he deserves.
Were you just trying to give Bradley Beal a microphone kiss?
Shut up.
That is strangely...
Shut up. We talked about him not getting the love he deserved. He averaged 31 last year. 31.
Wait. So you getting on the voters for Giannis's last year performance against him, and now you bringing Bradley Beal's last year performance
No. I'm telling you, last year, you and I were both upset that Bradley Beal did not get the love that he deserved, right?
True.
I'm just bringing that up. This year, the man still averaged what he averaged. He was going in. He still did exceedingly well.
The man had 31.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and he did this in 35.8 minutes. Bradley, listen.
So how is he not an All-NBA first teamer?
Listen, because it's about the competition. That's the thing about the MVP award.
Here we go.
That's the thing about the All-NBA.
Here we go.
Guy can be... Y'all, this guy that I'm doing a podcast with is incredibly silly.
Woo.
I'm just telling y'all he's silly. Anyways, if a guy does better than he did last year, to sell you on, well, this player's, he's did way better than, yeah, for most improved player, that matters. That is like the only award that it would matter for, maybe 6 man of the year, maybe. But that's the only award where it matters for when you want to tell me some guy is better than the version of himself from last year. I don't care, because guess what? The version of yourself from last year still might not have been better than this dude, and the version of yourself from this year. You gonna tell me the version of Bradley Beal from this year is better than Luka Doncic?
I'm telling you, he averaged 31. 31. Luka has looked up and down this season. Bradley Beal, when he played, he was on it. The Dallas Mavericks are terrible. Okay? They're terrible.
So terrible, guys, that they're in the 5th seed. Meanwhile, the Wizards had to be in the play-in tournament where they got 50 put on their head by Jason Tatum. And then they had to come and get their W's off of the little bitty Pacers. They had to come and,
hold on. Hey, whoa. Hey,
whoa.
Okay.
Guys, he's about to allude to my my Sabonis, my extreme Sabonis fandom. But look, this is not the time nor place.
It is the place.
It is the place. It is not.
Talk about the Pacers.
We will be moving on.
Talk about Pacers.
We will be moving on.
We're talking about the Pacers.
Wow. I see what we're doing. We're doing a mix-up of the playoffs.
We're talking about the Pacers.
That's what we're doing right now.
You talking about the Pacers?
That's what we're doing. It is very ridiculous. Point being, guys, Wizards were in the play-in tournament. Now listen, I believed in the Wizards. I am probably one of a few people that had the Wizards making the playoffs. Shannon Sharp, all these other commentators, they're like, Wizards, playoffs? No, I don't see that. They gonna get a couple games. Nope, Wizards in the playoffs, eat them. See that? Eat them. See that? So, Wizards in the playoffs, but that being said, here's the way this goes for me. Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one because you can't give them both a spot, because I wouldn't say that both of them were definitively better than Luka Doncic. You are not gonna leave Luka Doncic off of that first team All-NBA team. Luka Doncic is a better passer than Bradley Beal. Not by a little bit, by a long bit. I don't even know what Bradley Beal's assists are this year, but typically Bradley Beal's assists, it hovers under 5 assists per game. I don't know what it is.
31, 4, and 4.
Okay, so it is under 5. So 4 assists. Luka Doncic's assists this year is probably like 9, 10. Luka probably has 9 or 10 assists. So I am double the assister that you are. I'm double the facilitator that you are. I certainly am a far better rebounder. Well, that's not even a question. The passing thing isn't a question either, because Luka already is one of the best passers you ever did see.
27, 8, and 8 for Luka.
27, 8, and 8. And then we've got this guy who has 31, 4, and I believe 4.7. You can't pick both. Who is the better all-around player? For guys, the scoring is not even that off. One guy averaged 28, one guy averaged 31, so 3 points. We're talking about 3-point scoring difference. It's not, I'm not saying it's infinitesimal, it's not the smallest thing in the world, but you got me by 3 points, and I got you by 4 assists and 4 rebounds. None of us are known for playing defense.
4 points.
4 points, 28 and 31?
Yeah, 28 and 31.
3.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, 28 and 31, so we got 3. Where's Kornacki? Where's Kornacki? Steve
Lord.
Kornacki. Somebody doesn't know how to do simple math. Nerd. Anyways, so I got Luka as the better player. He's a better all-around player, and if I got to pick between Bradley Beal and Steph this year, it's going to be Steph. So I don't have Bradley Beal in my first All-NBA team.
I'll pick by position. I didn't do 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. I did a shooting guard, a point guard, a small forward, a power forward, and a center. That's what I did. So I don't like to have 2 point guards on there. I feel like you should chop it up to the best player at each position, and Bradley Beal was the best shooting guard this year. That's how I chopped it up. I know people don't do that. Like I said, they do 2 guards, 2 forwards, and the center. But that's how I chopped it up.
Well, you know what? Clearly, Bradley Beal is the best shooting guard in the game. So if that's the way that was done, I'll take that. I'll leave it alone. I can accept that. I thought we were just doing the two guards, but if you did it in an absolute literal definition, I will take that. So for me, I think that's pretty much where we differed between that. We differed on the Julius Randle, Jason Tatum thing. Right. Tell me why you think Jason Tatum deserves that over Julius Randle.
Julius Randle is a great player. We sung his praises earlier. I mean, you echo everything we said earlier, so I'm not going to go back down that road. But Jason Tatum deserves something. This is Jason Tatum not... First of all, Jason Tatum, yes, Julius Randle got better on defense, but Jason Tatum has been a really good two-way player for a long time. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't say a long time, considering this is what the man's third or fourth year in the league. So I wouldn't say a long time. He definitely started playing some defense last year, and he's gotten even better this year. This year it was like, whoa. Yeah, he's a way better defensive player than he was last year. You can start calling him a legitimate. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. People say legitimate way too much. We try to avoid that on the show. I apologize. Scrub that from the record. We can say that Jason Tatum is a very good two-way player. We will say that. But you were going on defense, and so is that the sole reason why you got him above Julius Randle?
No, Julius Randle's offense has played a big role. It definitely has. I'm not saying it hasn't, but I'm saying I just like Jason Tatum better. If I was to pick a team to build around, I think Jason's skills would be way better to build around than Julius Randle. I just feel like that's the case. He's played, I mean, if you look at their numbers, it's damn near similar, like we were talking about, right? If you look at their numbers, it's damn near similar. So when they're that close, I would say that it's just a who do you prefer at that point. So, I mean, for me, I would say Jason.
It does sort of amount to a who do you prefer because their numbers are eerily similar. But I got Julius Randle. I mean, you did if you were building a franchise, who would you want? Yeah, of course. But that is not what we're doing here. That's more an MVP conversation. We are not doing if you were building a franchise, who would you want? We're looking at the competition. And for me, Julius Randle has had a better season than Jason Tatum for the simple fact that I feel like his load has been heavier. If you look at it in the prism which you define it, all NBA first team or not, is okay, who would I want to start the team is, that's one way of conceptualizing it. For me, it's who had the heavier load and who was able to perform better or just as well as the next guy given their load, given the competition, given the things they were asked to do. Jason Tatum, before Jaylen Brown went down, he had help. Jaylen Brown, most would say, is actually a better two-way player than Jason Tatum is. He can shoot the three, he can shoot mid-range, he can drive, he's definitely the better defender. Jaylen Brown might even make, all NBA defensive team this year. If not one, maybe two. But he's the better two-way player. He's the better two-way player on that team. We're not going to go there. But he's a better two-way player on that team. I feel like the load was heavier for Julius Randle. You've got Jaylen Brown as your next best player, Kemba Walker as your next best player, and as your next best player after that, Marcus Smart. We know that Julius Randle is the best player on that squad. His next best player, would you say, came over halfway through the season, and his name is Derrick Rose? That's probably his next best player, and then after that, it might be RJ Barrett.
Don't sleep on RJ. RJ consistently gets better.
I'm an RJ fan.
I understand you a stan fan, definitely, but I'm just saying you gotta respect it more so, because he's definitely improved steadily. So I would say he's the third best player on the team. Yeah, I would say that definitely. He'll be topping Ryzen and everything. But I mean, at this position, I would say all-star voting, to vote for the fans and, talk about stats and everything like that. But I feel like all-star is picking the best person at that position. Julius Randle wasn't playing like this last year, was he?
Once again, this is about this year. Mm-hmm. So, no, he wasn't. That's why you and I got him as our most improved player.
And I still don't think that he was the best player at his position. I still don't think he's the best player at the position. I would say Jason Tatum over him every day.
I think there's room for you not to necessarily be, I'm not telling you that Julius Randle is on a path to be better than Jason Tatum. That's not the conversation. When you say who you want to start the team, who would you rather start the team with? Mm-hmm. I agree. I concur. You'd rather start the team with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum also happens to be, I think, 23 years old, whereas Julius Randle's 26 years old. Not saying that Julius Randle is butt old, but Jason Tatum not only is better than, he's going to be better than you, I suspect, but he's also younger than you. That's not the conversation. There could be a year where a guy is better than the other guy, and that guy still not be overall a better player or have a better career. There can be a year, 1 year, where I am better than you, and then next year you come and you fulfill your potential. I think that might be this year for Julius Randle. You had your second best player be Derrick Rose. That's your second best player. Derrick Rose versus Jaylen Brown. That's the conversation. RJ Barrett versus Kemba Walker. That's the conversation. Now, Kemba Walker's been injured a great deal of the season, but I'd still, if you can count on Kemba Walker and maybe his, 16 or 17 points, he can assist. So you count on Kemba Walker giving you 17 points, probably about 6 or 7 assists. I can take that over what I got from RJ Barrett. I think his load was heavier. This Tibbs came over there, nobody knew what was going on. If we were talking about load, for me, we're talking about load. And then secondly, if you're talking about numbers, I'm a better, defense is probably, they might be equal in terms of defending. I would suspect that Randle has more blocks. When I'm looking this up, Randle definitely has better defensive win shares, so they suspect that Randle, by they I mean Basketball Reference, they suspect that Randle's a better defender. I got him over Tatum. I just do.
I'm fine with that. That's cool. Like I said, Julius averaged 24 and 10, and Jason averaged 26 and 7. So, like I said, he gave you more. No, rebounds.
Assists. I'm asking what about assists, because we know that rebounds are great, but when it comes to assists, Julius Randle, I think he gave you 6 assists this year.
Let's see. I know Jason gave you 4.
I think he gave you 6 assists. So if I'm responsible for 6 additional baskets, whereas you're responsible for 4 additional baskets, I think that man gave you 6 assists this year.
Okay, I can see what you're saying, but I still feel like Jason is the better player overall.
Okay.
I just feel that way.
Yeah.
Did you put Giannis? You got Giannis and Jokic on there too, or no?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that would be, that'd be like the Cardinals and the leave Giannis off. I don't want a Maria Taylor out here accidentally leave Giannis off.
There you
accidentally leave Anthony Davis off. Shout out to her though. She said what she said.
No.
Shout out to her.
That kind of responsibility.
She don't be playing with nobody.
That kind of responsibility is
Draymond.
massive.
You saw that. But we ain't gonna roast my girl Maria.
Yeah, yo girl. Okay.
Whatever.
All right, so you wanted to go through the other 2 NBA teams that you picked?
Yeah, real fast. I got all NBA second team. Give me Dame. And once again, I'm doing this in the 2 guards, 2 forwards, 1 center. So I got Dame, I got Booker, I got Jimmy Butler. Now listen, we're both Heat fans, so there could be some bias. I'm going to come out front
Bradley
and center
Bill's
and say
still
that.
not on the list.
Dame, Booker, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. Jason Tatum is on my second team, but
no Bradley
listen,
Bill.
I don't think that it's, as mentioned before with the Jason Tatum, Julius Randle thing, you can have that either or. I just feel like the edge goes to Julius Randle, so I do got Jason Tatum second. Third is where I put your beloved Bradley Beal. Alliteration. 5 points for that, right?
Third.
5 points?
5 points? No.
Oh, okay.
You put him on the 3rd list, so no.
No points because he's on all NBA third team. No points, no points. All right. No points. We got Bradley Beal down there. We got Kyrie Irving down there. We got LeBron James down there. Kawhi Leonard, and we got Rudy Gobert.
No Anthony Davis at all?
No. Anthony Davis missed too many games.
LeBron missed too many games, too.
If you look LeBron up, I think LeBron's got 50 games played. So if I've played 50 games out of 72, Anthony Davis probably played 40 out of 72, maybe even 30 something out of 72. Do we have the numbers on those? I'm willing to guarantee.
LeBron played 45.
What?
Yeah, so you're definitely wrong about that.
LeBron played 45.
He played 45 games this season, so you're wrong about that.
That is something. Well, LeBron played 45. I still got, what did Anthony Davis play?
36.
Okay, so LeBron apparently played 45. Anthony Davis played 36.
Not apparently. He did play 45 games.
Okay. That's a difference of 9 games. I still think LeBron was way impactful in his 45 games than Anthony Davis was, so Anthony Davis is not on that list. Listen, there are so many people I would have put on that list before Anthony Davis if we're talking just forward, so definitely not Anthony Davis. LeBron is on that list. I mean, before Anthony Davis, you probably would have to put Paul George on that. Defense and the fact that he played more games, so no. Not Anthony Davis. LeBron, the 45 was surprising, but I still got LeBron on there because LeBron at 45 games is still better than our guy that we talked about. We talked about Jerry Grant, right? LeBron at 45 games versus Jerry Grant at whatever games he played. He played a lot of games. Yeah, LeBron is on that list. Kawhi's on that list. Surprisingly, guys, Kawhi played more than he played 50 games or more this year. I just had looked him up previously. I think Kawhi's played 52 games this year?
Jeremy played 54.
All right, so yeah, LeBron 45, Jeremy Grant 54. Give it to LeBron. He was more impactful in his time. So that's my third list. Now I got Bradley Beal on the All-NBA third team because I still don't think that Bradley Beal had a better season than Luka, Steph, Dame, or Devin Booker. And I think Bradley Beal, he had a phenomenal season, but when you go to these awards, you also have to consider what was the impact that it had on your team. So I dropped 30 points. Here's a guy that nobody's talking about. Zach LaVine. Why isn't Zach LaVine on either of our lists? Zach LaVine had a pretty good season, right?
Yeah, Zach LaVine had a pretty good season, but that doesn't mean he was better than everybody at his position.
No, but you went with the shooting guard thing. Zach LaVine's actual position is shooting guard. I mean, you didn't get to your second or third team list, but I doubt you would have had Zach LaVine on your list. Zach LaVine wouldn't have been on your list because when you look at it, you're saying to yourself,
I picked positional, so I mean, he probably would have been in the running. I wouldn't say I completely forgot about him. Bradley Beal missed the scoring title by 1 point to Steph Curry this year. Put some respect on his name.
Right. I get it. Steph Curry had the better season, and I understand you did yours
by 1 point.
I understand you did yours positionally. No, Steph Curry had the better points. He had more assists. The rebounds probably was the same. You know, the rebound wasn't really a big deal, but I scored more points than you. I had more assists than you, and our rebounds are adequate. None of us are known for playing defense. Steph Curry clearly had the better season. And then when you go to Luka, if Luka didn't average as many points as Bradley Beal, he had more rebounds and he had more assists by big numbers. Bradley Beal, to me, belongs in that third team spot because he had numbers, yes, but his numbers weren't all around. If you're going to put a guy above him and they don't have more points than he does, you're going to want to see a better all-around player. We named better all-around players than Bradley Beal, and that's why they're above him. Better all-around player this year, Dame was a better all-around player this year. This year, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, I take courtesy of Chris Paul, he must have shown him how to pass, but this year, Devin Booker, I think he had 5 or 6 assists this year.
Why wasn't Chris Paul on any other list there?
Ooh, listen.
Like, he was an MVP candidate for a very long time.
Chris?
I only made one NBA list. I mean, you made 3, so why was Chris not on there?
Chris Paul, you guys don't know, the show just started.
Explain!
Chris Paul is my favorite point guard, and Chris Paul is my favorite point guard because he is a crazy two-way player.
Then why wasn't he on your list then?
You haven't seen a guard this great two-way since Gary Payton. But he's not on my list because I think at 16 points and 7 assists and 5 rebounds, can you give me Chris Paul's numbers?
I mean, he clearly was the catalyst that got the Suns to where they are. I doubt if Chris Paul went there, they would have been the second seed. So, I mean,
I agree with you. And, you made that cute little thing earlier when you said, they were in the bubble and they started bubbling. Yeah, that's why I don't got Chris Paul on any of these lists. I want to, but if I take off Kyrie Irving and throw in Chris Paul, or if I take off your beloved Bradley Beal and throw in Chris Paul, I think everybody would feel some way about a guy who's averaging 16 points.
4 and 8.
Yeah, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Taking that guy and putting him above the 31, 4, 4.7 guy, or Kyrie Irving, who's probably at 26 points, 6 assists, and maybe 5 rebounds as well. I don't have Chris Paul because, yes, he was impactful, but Chris Paul is not the best player on that team. You're not the best player on that team, and you're not the best player at that position currently. You still can play defense, which is better than you can say about a lot of point guards, but if you had to choose Chris Paul or Steph Curry, you're going Steph Curry. If you've got to choose Chris Paul or Luka Doncic, you're going Luka Doncic. If you got to choose Chris Paul or Dame Lillard, you're going Dame Lillard. So by your definition and positional wise, he's not the third, he's not first, second, or third best point guard. For my guard definition, I think Chris Paul had an immediate impact on the team, but I also felt like the fact that the Suns went 9-0 without Chris Paul in the bubble, not against terrible teams. They went 9-0 against the Lakers, the Clippers.
That's last year, though. We talking about this year.
They did, but when it comes to team success, we're giving Chris Paul a lot of credit because, he helped them do this. I saw them go 9-0 in the bubble against the best teams.
That's last year. We're talking about this year.
And this year, they came, and I feel like, for me, they picked off where they left off. No, I don't think they would have been the second seed.
Picked up where they left off.
I'm not saying that. They wouldn't have been the second seed. But I think they were headed for a good season. They were headed for a good season. Did having Chris Paul help them? Yeah, you saw what he did with the Thunder. Chris Paul's just not on my list. Not this time. I think what he did was great, but it wasn't what the other dudes did as far as All-NBA. All-NBA is first and foremost about what you did, and then secondly, it does matter what you did for your team and how did it impact it. Can you say that Chris Paul had a better season than those other dudes that I named?
I wouldn't say so, not individually, but I mean, you can't intertwine. Sometimes you intertangle, like you'll make a point here for this point, you'll make a point here for this point. So it's like, what do you value more when it comes to All NBA? The total impact of the team or just individuality?
First and foremost is your individual performance. You can't even get on this. So there's no James Jones on this list, guys. James Jones, Miami Heat, went to Cleveland, got a ring.
Yeah, All NBA is the best at your position.
Exactly. It's the best at that position. You go to 2 guards to 2 forwards. So if you're saying the best at that position, first and foremost, it's similar to MVP, except this is just, more widespread, it's broader. First, it has to be your personal performance, your production. That's the first criteria. Secondly, what did that do for the team? That is why last year you could see Bradley Beal average 30 points per game and not get any recognition. Last year you saw Devin Booker. Didn't the same thing happen to him? Both of them?
He didn't play as well as Bradley Beal did, but yeah.
I mean, Devin Booker had 29 points per game.
And
it's like
Bradley Beal had 20. Bradley Beal had 30.
Yeah, so they had some very similar seasons last year. One guy had 30. One guy had 29, and I don't think either of them got on the All-NBA team because it's about impact additional to your personal performance, and that's where I'm going with it. Impact, with personal performance, Bradley Beal has a lot of guys, just in points, because we keep shouting out this 31 points. We keep shouting out this 31 points. We keep shouting out this 31 points, but I don't think if it wasn't respected last year, it should be respected that much this year. It's good enough to get you a third NBA team spot because you guys did make the playoffs. Had you not made the playoffs, we'd probably be in that same position where they're like, that's great. You scored 30 points, but how did that help you? So personal production is first, team success is second. That's why I've got Bradley Beal where he is.
All right, let's move on to this year's biggest disappointments. I'm going to start it off. My biggest disappointment in the NBA this year is Kristaps Porzingis. That's my biggest disappointment because when the Knicks traded him, 3 years ago? Traded him to the Dallas Mavericks 3 years ago. We were all talking, him and Luka together. Point guard and power forward will be such a combination together. It's been nothing. He went from the unicorn to a pedestrian. The man is injured. When he's not injured, he's barely an impact. We're recording this 5/23/21, and I'm pretty sure what happened. It was Luka put on a show with a triple-double in the last game they had. Who did they face?
They played the Clippers, and yes, Luka did put on a triple-double.
And Kristaps, I think, had 14 points. That's your number 2 option. He was the unicorn. And when he was a Knick, he was averaging, 28? Somewhere around there. So your production gets cut completely in half. Chris Bosh was a way better player than him on the Heat than he is for the Mavericks.
And Chris Bosh was the third option.
So my biggest disappointment is Kristaps Porzingis. That's what I'm going to say. He deserves no love. They should drop him. They should trade him because obviously this is not working there. I don't care what Mark Cuban says or what Mark Cuban does. I don't care if they're friends or not. He's not producing. It's over.
Yeah, think upon looking it up, so yes, this is actually his second season with Dallas. I don't know if that would make him forgiven in your mind. It probably wouldn't. Listen, I called him a Rudy Gobert hater earlier. If he has hate for Rudy Gobert, he has absolute rage and carnage when we're talking about Kristaps Porzingis. He does not like that man. He does not like wacky, waveable, inflatable arm tube, man. Wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube, man. That's Kristaps Porzingis, everybody. But yeah, Kristaps Porzingis has been a disappointment. I thought this would be better because if you guys can remember, there's some Dallas history for you. Dallas at one point had Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki. Don Nelson, I believe, was the coach at that point, and Mark Cuban engineered that as well. They had that going, traded Steve Nash to Phoenix, obviously. So that's what I thought we was having going on here. I thought we were having Luka and we were having Kristaps, and it was going to be two players that were not American that were going to, pretty much F up the league. That didn't happen. So yeah, he's been a disappointment. His name didn't come to mind because at this point, I'm kind of expecting that from Kristaps. I mean, Jamal Murray came to mind for me. Jamal Murray has been my biggest disappointment. Yes, some of you people will say caveat because he got injured. That being said, you saw that playoff performance Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray did. I expected Jamal Murray to
That's what I was saying earlier when we brought his name up. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. They both went from scoring around, 25 points, 26 points, to going off and each scoring like 40-plus points.
Yeah.
And then everybody, including myself, was like, oh, I can't wait till next season to see the jump, to see the big jump. And they went back to regular season mode.
Yeah, and both of them got injured, by the way. That could just be a side effect of the bubble. Notice LeBron got injured.
But this is at the end of the season, though.
Anthony Davis got injured.
This is like the end. This is like the last third of the season. When the season started, I was expecting, maybe high 20s, maybe low 30s, something like that. Because you don't make a jump like that where you go that crazy in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden comes back and it's like,
Yeah, that's why Jamal Murray is my biggest disappointment. Him and Donovan Mitchell both
combine them. Yeah, that's a pack right there.
Donovan Mitchell got his together. When the beginning of the season, Donovan Mitchell was averaging about 23 points per game. Donovan Mitchell, I think he ended the season averaging 25 or better per game. He got his together despite the injury, and he's not going for the rest of the season, so we still get to see him. We can still see him go crazy in the playoffs like last year. It's just over for Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray went from 18 points per game to 21 points per game, so he jumped 3 points. So if somebody jumps 3 points, it shouldn't be that big of a disappointment. But I was just really looking to see 25 points per game, 24. I was looking for him to be a damn point guard too. Yeah, you got Jokic, and Jokic can give you 10 assists, 11 assists, but do y'all know Jamal Murray has yet to average more than 5 assists per game? Whose point guard is Jamal Murray? That's another segment we're going to have one of these days. It's going to be whose point guard is that? Exclusively dudes that's supposed to be point guard, and you ain't never seen them pass the ball to nobody. None-body.
Going back to the Kristaps point that I made earlier, looked at his stats, and I see that he averaged 22 with the Knicks in 2017, and then he was out 2018. That's when he was traded. That's what I was thinking of. He was traded in 2018, but he was injured. But then in 2019, he only played 57 games, and he averaged 20 points. And this year, he only played 43 games and averaged 20 points. But obviously, they landed in the 5th seed, which is still not enough. Luka Doncic is the clear number one reason that they're there. If he wasn't there, it just wouldn't happen. Nothing would happen with them. So Kristaps, like I said before, I'm done waiting for him to pop. I think it's over.
I agree.
All right. So let's see. Let's go to the next segment. Next segment will be called Keep, Release, or Fire. It's a series where we talk about someone who's on a hot seat that we would keep, somebody who we would outright release, and then somebody who will we fire. So for keep, I got Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks definitely deserves some credit for what the Wizards did this year. And it's not super impressive. The Wizards they still made it to the playoffs. There are a lot of teams who just didn't. The Golden State Warriors, who everybody laud, is still wait till Klay Thompson comes back. Oh, we gonna see when Klay Thompson.
Everybody, John B.
So
it's the way Richard John B. Drake said it was him, but no, it's Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson looks like John B.
So it's just
cue your Tupac music now.
So with Scott Brooks, he deserves a lot of credit too. I mean, obviously, Russ and his 38 triple doubles had a lot to do with it, but Scott Brooks is a great coach too. I mean, how much did you expect to win when John Wall was out, and then he only had Bradley Beal, or then Bradley Beal was out, and he only had John Wall?
Didn't they play injury games like musical chairs, but for injuries?
Exactly.
Didn't they do that?
It's kind of like the Nets this year. Like, we got Kyrie and we got Harden, but we don't got Durant. Oh, we got Kyrie and we got Durant, but we don't have Harden.
It felt like a magic show. It really felt like.
So I hated that. It was like,
you know what?
You got to give him some type of credit.
It was Guess That Pokemon. That's what it was, okay? It was Guess That Pokemon. Tune in next week on Dragon Ball Z to see if Kyrie, KD, and Harden will all be playing together, or if you'll get neither one of them. Whoa!
So it's just, so that was my keep. Who is your keep?
Give me Nate McMillan. He is over there in the A, Atlanta, guys. And he took over for Lloyd Pierce. Lloyd Pierce was fired, unceremoniously. But he took over, and you got the Hawks. Hawks, I think we talked about Knicks. Knicks were in that 4th seed, and I think Hawks are in the 5th seed. Hawks could be in the 5th, and Knicks could be in the 4th. It could be vice versa, but I think it's Hawks in the 5th seed.
And they really turned it on. And like the middle of the year, like after the All-Star break,
right? They turned
when he
it
took
on.
over,
when he took over.
Yep.
You know what they really turned on? That thing called defense. We know that Trae Young is a suspect defender. He is sussy as heck on the defense. But they took over. He took over, I should say. Nate McMillan took over. Defense was way better. I think they're a top 5 defensive team right now. The record shows it. No, just like nobody expected the Knicks, nobody absolutely expected the Hawks to get anywhere this year. I got Nate McMillan. Keep him in that job. I don't think he should have been fired from the Pacers to begin with. Yeah, he got the Dwayne Casey treatment. Oh, you go against LeBron and you get swept. When you go against a certain team and you get swept in the first round, even though nobody thought you would win against that team, you get fired the next year, or they didn't even let this man get to the next year. They just fired him. So yeah, keep Nate McMillan. I repeat, keep Nate McMillan. Good for the Hawks.
All right, that sounds good. All right, let's go to release. I go to Kayvon Looney. Big for no reason, long for no reason. The man can't defend for nothing. You talk about suspect D, Kayvon Looney, suspect D. You talk about suspect offense. He fits both categories. I mean, they gave him, what was it, $15 million at the end of the playoffs? Oh, he poured his heart into his performance, and he did this and he did that. It's not even close. The man is like in his fourth season in the league, I want to say. And he is still one of the worst big men in the league. And it's not even close. I said, I always thought that Rudy Gobert was uncoordinated and long and just
harkening back to our earlier subject.
Had no control of his body. And compared to Kayvon Looney, he moved like Allen Iverson. So I'm over him. They should release him. He should be gone. He better go through the Julius Randle program if that man want another job, because he is terrible.
Okay. Now, I happen to know, because I unfortunately happen to spend a lot of time with this guy. This guy that's sitting No! Guys, I'm MEERKAT. That is my thing. That's my shtick. No! This man can't be trusted.
Yes.
He's sneaky. Yes. He's flipping on everybody. He cannot be trusted. He can't do that.
Protect me at all costs.
I'm MEERKAT.
Protect me at all costs.
That. No. Okay? No.
Uh-oh.
You're not Regina Hall. You're not getting protected at all costs. You know what? You're a sniveling coward.
Whoa.
That's what you are. You're a sniveling coward. You're going to come on this show.
Whoa.
You're going to come on this show and act like an upstanding individual.
That's me.
Oh, hey, release this guy. Guys, he talks trash about Montrezl Harrell all the time.
That's not true.
You just heard him talk trash about Porzingis.
That's true.
I am beyond surprised that his release wasn't Porzingis or Montrezl Harrell. He talks so much trash about those dudes.
Montrezl played terrible this year.
I am just very, very surprised that wasn't his release.
You should be surprised.
I got an easy guy. I mean, this is not hard for anybody.
Pull the trigger.
Victor Oladipo.
Ooh.
Victor Oladipo.
Hold on there, friend.
No.
Hold on there,
Victor
friend.
Oladipo.
Don't make me make the noise again.
In some ways, it pains to say this. I am a fan of the two-way player. Would never give out an MVP to a guy who wasn't. Steph Curry, as great as he is, would have never gotten an MVP from me. Steve Nash would have never gotten an MVP from me. If you are not a great two-way player, you wouldn't get an MVP. When I saw Victor Oladipo with Indiana Pacers, I thought we had something cooking. Nothing was cooking. It was burning. It was burning, and then it burned.
Nothing was burning. It was just injured. The steak was injured.
No, okay? Them knees was burnt to the ground, okay? Them knees went bad. That's what happened. They expired.
That ACL on that steak was torn.
They expired, okay? They just straight expired. That's what happened with Victor Oladipo.
Expired.
Victor Oladipo out here conning boys. If Victor Oladipo is able to come up on a more than $10 million...
He conning boys.
He conning
boys. We talking about, I'm
not
going to do that. Let's not save it. Save it.
Right,
Save it.
Right, guys. We going to have a conning segment.
Oh.
You know what? I ain't going to do
it.
Yeah,
don't just... We talk about it later. We talk about it later.
Victor Oladipo about to be out here conning boys. If he gets to have more than $10 million per year next year, and yes, we're Miami fans, as I mentioned, so there's some bias there. We mad that Victor Oladipo came over here.
Big mad.
And got injured, and then got surgery, and they don't know when he gonna be playing, and they don't know when he gonna be healthy. Here's the answer: never. He is never healthy.
Whoa.
That's what you get from Victor Oladipo.
Whoa.
I am so mad that we got rid of our ponytail wearing Canadian friend in Kelly Olynyk. We got rid. You can get rid of Avery Bradley. I don't care about that, but we got rid of our sweet stroker from the three-point line,
Whoa.
Kelly Olynyk, and we grabbed Victor Oladipo because we thought he fit in nice. Mind you, we've been playing around with Kendrick Nunn's minutes. We play around with Kendrick Nunn's minutes so that we can get Victor Oladipo, who's a better defender and a better three-point shooter and a better passer, and just, oh man, this guy's a great two-way player. So he messed with our team chemistry. We had to play around with Kendrick Nunn's minutes. We played around with Tyler Hero's minutes. Yes, Tyler Hero had already been benched practically at that point, but he's taking minutes from guys that can still use development. Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero. No, Gordon Dragic can't use development, but we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. Victor Oladipo messed up the rotation and probably won't be here next year. You know Pat Riley and the Heat, they love to hire these old players and give them this money.
I get your form on it. I understand it, but I'm just saying Miami needed firepower in some way. Tyler Hero is still very young. He still hasn't gotten his groove in the NBA yet. He'll give you 30 here. It didn't have 14 here, so he's not consistent yet. Same thing with Bam Adebayo. As much as everybody, all-star, he might be one of the best at his position, he's still inconsistent. Jimmy's the only consistent one you can count on to give you 25 points or so per game. Jimmy can't just get leaned on all the time. Victor Oladipo is literally the perfect figure for more firepower. The man point scores like crazy. So I understand your injury argument, but it was the attempt that I appreciated.
Yeah, listen. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Y'all, if any of y'all ever had a Southern grandma or a Southern grandpa, I'm sure they'd have said that to y'all.
Nah, it's a pretty widespread.
I typically hear it in the South. I'm sure they'd have said that to y'all before y'all was getting a switch from a tree and, commencing the whooping. But that's what I feel about this here Victor Oladipo situation. It was a great idea in theory, but who really thought that Victor Oladipo was going to be firing on anybody? Victor Oladipo is getting fired. Victor Oladipo is getting fired on. He's not firing on anybody. Victor Oladipo ain't doing none of that. Those knees is expired. I am so serious when I say that. 3 years ago, yeah, but last time you seen Victor Oladipo, he was injured. The time before that, he was injured. And the time before that, he was injured. So what did you think? What did you think was going to happen? Victor Oladipo messed up the Heat's team, and we still in limbo. Pat Riley is still like, maybe we keep him, maybe we don't. No, Pat. Get rid of Victor Oladipo. John Wall, you saw what he was doing in Washington. At one point, we wanted John Wall. Then they wanted too much for him. At one point we wanted Westbrook, but it's really the John Wall thing. John Wall could not get his body back together. You don't pick up John Wall and you don't pick up Victor Oladipo. And Gordon Hayward, side note for him, he's an honorable mention. I don't think Gordon Hayward should have got the money that he got to begin with. So he just released off rip. Just cause who told Michael Jordan to give Gordon Hayward $120 million? Who told him to do that? He's my honorable mention release.
So let's go on to fire. My fire candidate is Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle has been coasting off winning a title in 2010 for the longest time. Since then, he's lost in the first round or missed the playoffs in every single series since then. He's been there for 12 years. He was hired in 2008. You telling me that you can coast off a championship for that long? I've known people who were fired right after championships. Jerry Jones is a crazy dude who fired Jimmy Johnson right after winning the Super Bowl.
Jerry Jones in here?
You know why?
Guys,
you know why? No.
Form your hate list.
No.
Form your hate list for WereWolf.
Rick Carlisle is
number
definitely not somebody who deserves a coaching job, and a head coaching job, I should say. I won't say completely not, because he probably is a smart guy when it comes to coaching. But when it comes to this, no. Rick Carlisle is nobody's head coach. He's done. I don't know why Mark Cuban probably has some kind of loyalty, and it's good to have loyalty, but he has not shown results in more than 12 years. He won a championship like the year or the year after he was hired, and ever since then it's been first round out or not even making the playoffs.
You and I had this discussion many times. Was that him? Was that Carlisle that won that 2011 championship?
Yes.
That was him?
Yeah, we were talking about because we were talking about how he's only made the finals once, and you thought it was twice, but he got hired.
Yeah, I thought it was the Miami Heat. That was Avery Johnson, I think.
Yeah, you thought it was
Avery Johnson.
He went to two finals. He only went to one. He won one.
Okay, that's
but
what it was.
It's been first round out or playoff miss ever since then. So he got to go.
Yeah, see, you say I make points and then I come back and I do this, and I just think that's the human mind. That's the way it works. Here's my thing on the Rick Carlisle situation. I agreed with you previously that Rick Carlisle needs to show some results, but Rick Carlisle and the Mavericks took the Clippers to 6 games last year in the playoffs, and we talking about this year. Right now, they up 1-0 on the Clippers. Right now, they can very well send the Clippers home. That's Rick Carlisle.
The Clippers are sus. They sus. Please. Talking about some last year. They sus as ever.
The Clippers are 4th. The Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, Serge. The Clippers got squad. They got squad.
They had squad last year.
They did.
They had squad last year.
They took the Clippers to 6 games. Right now, they up 1-0 against the Clippers. And they're up this way with Porzingis not playing good. Porzingis is either not playing good or absent most of the time. So Rick Carlisle was able to put this show together with his supposed to be second best player playing like trash. So I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack for that.
That's how we got to this point. Let's cut Rick Carlisle some slack every season. Let's just make sure will get better next year. And he never gets better. So I don't care if you took him to game 7. They lost. So
you want to cut Rick Carlisle some spam then? Because we know how you don't like spam. You just want him out of here. Cut him some spam.
Goodbye. Hello, assistant coach somewhere else.
I'm going to hold on to Rick Carlisle for just this season to see what the results are.
Right.
Just this season.
Mm-hmm.
Just this season.
If we talking about how we should fire Brad Stevens, or Brad Stevens got one more season to get it together, and we talking about giving Carlisle some just giving him a little bit more credit and giving him some break. What is that? What is that? Brad Stevens has not been in his job as long as Rick Carlisle has. Brad Stevens has at least gone to Eastern Conference Finals 3 times. Rick Carlisle went to the finals and won it once and done nothing since. Coasting, goodbye.
Yeah, I'm still hanging on to Rick Carlisle just for the end of this season, whereas somebody jumped the gun prematurely. Brad Stevens is actually my fire guy. I don't want to do it to this 21-year-old looking 30-something man, maybe even 40. This dude always looks like a boy. Brad Stevens always looks like some guy that just recently graduated high school or maybe is a second year into college. Always.
You dead wrong.
He does. So
I don't want
to do it to this guy who's from Indiana, who coached Butler. You know, he was there with Gordon Hayward when Gordon Hayward hit the shot of shots. Ooh. So I don't want to do it. And you make a good point, but we all know that. Do you celebrate the guy who's went to the conference finals and has never been to the championship and never won anything? Or is it that guy that actually went to the finals and won a ring? Not only did Rick go and win a ring, guys, who was that ring against? That was the ring against LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh in their prime. That is what that ring was. It was not a lucky ring. It was not, hey, I get to play Golden State Warriors without KD and without, Klay Thompson. That was a crazy victory, so I'm just holding on for them. But Brad Stevens.
So how long do we get then?
I told you at the end of this season, he is gone. I need them to get past this series.
How long does Rick Carlisle get?
Rick Carlisle right now at the end of this season, they don't get past round one. He's gone. He's gone because you're going to need a new voice in that locker room. You're going to need to hear something else. Something ain't clicking. But Brad Stevens is gone for that same reason because I think the team is tuning him out. I think the team is tuning Brad Stevens out. Brad Stevens is a great development coach. He can do that for you. He's good with young talent. But I think Jason Tatum has arrived. So I don't think you need Brad Stevens there. Yeah, they've arrived. You don't need him there anymore. Kemba Walker's already a veteran. It would be nice if you can keep, ego, right? It'd be nice if you could keep him on to develop Robert Williams and Grant Williams and Pritchard, but no. He's got to go because, yes, you've been to the conference finals 3 times. You have not been to the finals once. Last year, people had you pegged as beating Miami, and you didn't do it. You had Kyrie Irving, and maybe this is more of a shot against Kyrie Irving, but you had Kyrie Irving for 2 years with your young talent and didn't get to the finals either. One of those years, clearly Kyrie was injured, so that's the asterisk for that one. That's the year that he actually overachieved. That's the year that they played against LeBron James in the conference finals and he overachieved. But then the next year, you got Kyrie Irving. Didn't look like you're making adjustments. I think this year he's clearly underachieved, and last year he's underachieved. You underachieved 2 times in a row, yet you have very good talent. You have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker. And Marcus Smart is no scrub. I like what you get from Marcus Smart. You got an all-around player, pass, elite defender, shooting the 3 better. He can get you some points. Marcus Smart can probably get you 12 to 15 points a night. You are wasting that talent. You can only do that for so long in this league, this players-driven league, this talent-driven league. You can only do that for so long without being fired. It happens. If you waste the time of talent, you will be fired. That's just the rule of thumb right there.
Okay,
so that's why Brad Stevens
every
has
point
to go.
that you're making is the same thing for Rick Carlisle, right?
No,
he's
Rick
wasting.
Carlisle
He's
hasn't
wasting.
always had the talent.
He hasn't always had the talent, but he's wasting Luka's years, aren't he? Isn't he?
That's why
he's wasting Luka's years. So I mean, okay, you're talking about all this, the same stuff that mirrors Rick Carlisle. I mean, Luka, he can't even control Luka. Luka almost got suspended because Rick Carlisle didn't grab him up and say, "Stop! You're doing too much."
With the technicals,
Rick
right.
Carlisle couldn't. If you can't even control your star player, why do you even have a job? I'm not hearing that. Brad Stevens, you saying they getting tuned out? At least Jason Tatum is just screaming in the rest for every 5 seconds.
That's not Jason Tatum's mentality.
No,
Luka
but guess what?
Is a pathological complainer.
That's fine. But as a coach, you have to keep that under control.
You gotta rein it in.
There's some people like Draymond who you can't do that. Draymond is going to be Draymond. Luka doesn't have to be this way.
Why?
Luka doesn't have to be this way.
What makes you think, first of all, Luka started this complaining as a boy. I think he was born out the womb like, "Ma, why didn't I get delivered 2 hours early? Oh man, that sucks."
I don't know if that's true. I mean, we don't know about his overseas antics and everything like that. I don't care too much, to be honest with you. But I mean that's fine.
I get the feeling this man has been complaining forever. This man is very young in his career and he's leading the league in technicals. If you're trying to convince me that Draymond is the way that he is, but Luka isn't the way that he is. I don't know why. We just seen Draymond more, so we know more about him. There's more data points, there's more history, but I think
Luka's in his third season.
Is just a fiery complainer. That's what you have with Luka Doncic. He's just a fiery complainer. That's just what he does. This is who he is. I don't think you're gonna see him being a 5 technicals per year kind of player. I think this is who he is. This man is a mass complainer, and I don't think, could Rick Carlisle do a better job? Yeah, because when you see Luka arguing with the rest, you don't see Rick Carlisle saying like,
no, you don't see him stepping in or grabbing him away like, yo, okay, we
or
get
none
it.
of the other veterans
Get
on the
back
team.
on offense.
You don't see anybody
Get back
saying,
on defense.
Cut that out. Tim Hardaway Jr., you're not super old, but Tim Hardaway Jr. is old enough to be like, stop doing that.
Any of the other coaches are old enough to say,
it.
Luka, stop. You don't need somebody on like what was it, TNT, on chucking them.
Yeah.
You don't need somebody like that asking, hey, are you going to stop complaining?
Kenny. No,
are
not
you
Kenny,
going
Ernie,
to
yeah.
Are you going to stop this? Bless you.
Thanks. You're right about that. But Rick Carlisle has not always had the talent. And I know you hate the East-West argument, but if Rick Carlisle has A, not always had the talent, and B, when he does get into the playoffs, he has the misfortune of getting into the 7th or 8th seed, so he has to play somebody like the Lakers or somebody like the Spurs or somebody like the Warriors. When you have to play teams like that, yes, do your job, you're coaching, you're supposed to get wins, that's the name of the game, but we all know that if the Mavericks match up against a Lakers squad, they're not going to win. If the Mavericks match up against the Warriors with KD, they were not going to win. If the Mavericks match up against the Spurs, it's very unlikely they're not going to win.
Oh, the Mavericks matched up against Kawhi, and it took them to 7 games, and they lost.
Hey, he hasn't had the talent always, and he's had far more fierce competition. Brad Stevens, at this point, has had the talent and hasn't had as fierce competition. That was Brad Stevens that had that MVP form Isaiah Thomas. That was him. That was him that had that MVP form Isaiah Thomas. That had Avery Bradley when he was still worth a damn. That was him. That was him that had Marcus Morris when he was playing at his best, most people would say. Or, he was manageable. That was Bradley Stevens with all those guys. Brad Stevens, Jay Crowder, when he first made a name for himself, Brad Stevens had all of that. Kelly Olynyk, our guy, who came over to Miami, now is in Houston. Brad Stevens has had the talent, and at this point, it seems he is not doing much with it. It's starting to kind of stagnate. That's what's going on with me. You got the talent, and you got less competition. Do something. Do something more. You're going to be out in the first round this year, of course. Playing against the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to be out. But I gotta get Brad Stevens up out of there because you got Tatum arrived, you got Jaylen Brown arrived. I gotta get him up out of there. I don't think it's the same comparison with Rick Carlisle because what has Brad Stevens done that you can say is truly out of this world amazing?
No, you're right about that. But at the end of the day, Brad Stevens, I believe that he should, if he don't get it together, be out next year. Rick Carlisle should have been fired last year. Okay, let's wrap this up. This is the final bite. Out of all the topics that we covered today in the NBA, obviously, just showed you that what kind of fandom that we're into, what kind of chemistry that we have together on the podcast, and this is something new we're trying. It's definitely something new, and this one went on a pretty long. It's about an hour and 30 minutes.
Yikes.
So that's what happens when you talk. That's what happens when you talk.
Oh, this is about me talking.
This is
about me talking.
So the final bite is this. We'll be watching, we'll be waiting, we'll be looking. I'm not sure if this podcast will be once a week or maybe after something big happens or maybe twice a week. It just depends on how it goes. We're going to keep recording. You guys just keep